Hey guys, just thought I'd do a quick review of my new phone I've just gotten from T-Mobile. It's the LG G2. And now just so you guys can see a little bit on the back, it gives you a little bit of the feature list. It has full 1080p display, obviously, an IPS display panel, 2 gigs of LPDDR3 RAM, and it's also got the quad-core Snapdragon 800. As for the smaller features, it does have a 3000 milliamp battery. And one new feature that I haven't seen in a phone yet is a 24-bit 192 kilohertz audio processor. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. As for the box, obviously it's just a little sleeve, and then it opens up, and the phone sits inside, and then you have all your cords and whatnot. But obviously the phone's not inside this box, because I am not patient and I already opened it up. So here you go. Now the really interesting thing about the G2 is, if you notice, there's no buttons on the side. If you look at this side, or I mean no buttons on the face. There's no buttons on the side, bottom, this side, or the top. The only actual discerning thing is, if you can see right here, I don't know if you can, is the micro SIM port, which is the same SIM port that you're going to find in the Galaxy S3, the Galaxy S4. So if you're coming from one of those, you don't have to really worry about finding a replacement SIM. But if you're coming from something like an iPhone 5C or 5 regular or 5S, you will have to get a new SIM card. Now you're probably wondering, well, where the hell are the buttons? And you'd be inclined to know they're on the back, positioned directly in the middle. Now you have your volume up, your volume down, and then your power and screen on button. And you're probably thinking, well, that's great and all, but you turn on the screen here, but what do you do if you don't want to have to wrap your hand around the phone? Well, that is a good question to ask, and LG thought of this, and they added what they call the double tap, or the knock knock. You just tap twice in quick succession, and it brings the screen on. And then you can unlock it. And as you can see, you got the notification bar. Looks like somebody sent me a text message. And now if you notice, obviously it is Android. If you were expecting something else, then obviously you don't know what a cell phone or a smartphone is. So you might as well just, throw yourself off a cliff and we'll just be done with you. But as you can see here, you got your app tray. It's very Android-esque. There's a little bit of stuff in here that kind of reminds me a little bit of TouchWiz, but fortunately most of it doesn't get in the way. There are, of course, the annoying T-Mobile apps you get, like you can't install the My Account, the visual voicemail, or a bunch of little apps that they send with you. But for the most part, it hasn't been very annoying, and no matter how much I try, this phone just never seems to chug. I mean, you can just swipe down really fast, go like this, you can open up the Play Store, you can go back home, you can open up Hangouts, and then, switch around to another app. It just opens up just like a snap. And I've been really impressed with that. There's obviously a couple little features here that I can, let's see if I can show you. There's LG calls it slide aside. So basically you open up an LG app. I'm trying to remember exactly. You can, there we go, resize it, and then you can take your 3 fingers, and then, is it 3? Maybe it's 2. You know what? Let's not worry about slide aside right now. Obviously I'm incapable of following simple gestures, but obviously it's a little limited to mostly LG apps, and I haven't really seen any apps right now that support it. But all in all, it's not really a huge deal. Obviously, we talk about the audio processor. If you go into LG's little music program, open it up, and you go and you get this thing called Hi-Fi. Now, when you select something that is Hi-Fi and you start playing it, it will bring up, I guess not there, but right here, if you see, you can see a little Hi-Fi emblem. It will only do that for songs that are in the 24-bit encoding. Obviously, there's some Vienna Boy Choir. Obviously, I'm not really into Vienna Boy Choir, so if you're really wondering why it's on there, it is stuff that LG has actually put on, and they're mostly like ringtone notification stuff and whatnot, but I don't know. It just makes me feel like a pedophile if I ever use them. Let's see. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this display. Now, this display has just been absolutely impressive. When I first saw this phone, I almost mistook it for an OLED display because I thought that the color saturation was really impressive. I was quite surprised to learn that it's just a regular LG display, and I will give LG this. They really do know how to make a display. Let's see if we can show you a quick video here real fast. Let's just go to my history here. Here we go. And as you can see here on YouTube, everything really loads up quite fast. Obviously, we get ads from but as you can see, the color saturation is really good. I've been extremely impressed with how everything sounds, and on the side note, the external speaker, it looks like there's two, but this is the microphone and then this is the speaker. So you only get mono sound, so it's not extremely impressive, but you know, it's loud and it's crisp, so it makes talking on the speakerphone quite easy and kind of, you know, hassle-free. I know, like on my older phones, like the Galaxy S3 or my friend's Galaxy S4, the speakerphone, once you turn it up really loud, it gets really, really crackly. And that is one thing that I don't like. On this one, you know, even if you turn it up really loud, as you can hear, you don't really get that crackle. Actually, I don't know if you guys can actually hear this. Sorry, I keep forgetting I'm playing this through my headset, but overall, I would have to say this has been one of the more impressive phones I've owned, and I've owned a lot. I started off with the HTC G1, moved on to the really terrible Motorola Click, and then from there I got the original Galaxy S, and then the HTC Sensation, the Galaxy S3, and this phone. Overall, I mean, there are some quirks, obviously, like this thing is a memory hog. If you look right here, you can see I'm using almost all but like 300 megs of RAM. Also, some of the LG apps seem to be a little bit useless for the most part. I've been a little bit less happy with it. Camera-wise, this has a really impressive camera too. I would say definitely better than the Galaxy S4. I don't really have any way to compare it with the Galaxy S3 right now, but it has like little things like Live Effect where you can like do like little manipulations while you're taking pictures, track and zoom, so like it follows just one person and stays focused on them, and then dual recording where it will record. Let's see if we can show it to you here. Okay. See, as you can see my face, and then you can see when I'm recording on the front of the screen there, which is kind of neat, but overall still kind of gimmicky. You're looking at a 13 megapixel camera, and the other really cool thing I will give this phone is most phones don't do this, but if you go into settings and you say you're doing some video, let's go into the video settings. Sorry. It has the option for 60 frames per second, which is really impressive. It makes everything buttery smooth. I mean, I wouldn't use it for everything because we recorded a 10-minute video. It ended up being around 3 gigabytes, so it can be quite the resource hog. But I mean, overall, it's still a very impressive phone, and you know, even with its 5.2-inch display, it still fits really well in your hand. I'm not super excited about the plastic back, but it doesn't creak, and you don't hear any, you don't hear any moans and groans of a phone like you would with the Galaxy S4 or 5. So it's, even though it's still using the polycarbonate, it's still quite a sturdy looking phone. Honestly, I can't quite think of anything else to really talk about this guy other than, if you're looking for a new phone, and I know the Galaxy S5's out, the HTC One M8 is also now available, but this is a lot cheaper, especially through T-Mobile. Like, I think the online overall price for this phone, not on sale, is about $440. When it is on sale, they usually sell it for about $400 flat. And you're like, well, that sounds like a lot of money, but you got to remember the HTC One M8 sells for about 600 something bucks, and same with the Galaxy S5 is almost 700. So if you're with T-Mobile and you're in one of those payment plans, this thing will cost you about $16 to $17 a month, whereas those will cost you about $24 a month. So overall, like, it's a really easy phone to get into, and it's, a really fair price for what is a very powerful phone. And the difference is really between the Snapdragon 800 and the 801 is the 801 just has a little bit better memory bandwidth so that it can record 4K video. Other than that, it's really not much more powerful than this phone right here. So, all honesty, like, until the Snapdragon 805 comes out, or you have a phone with 3 gigs of memory, the LG G2 is still one of the most powerful phones available now. If you guys have any questions or want me to repost a follow-up video, just leave a comment down in the section below. But other than that, I think that's everything that I can remember off the top of my head. If I forgot something, just, remind me. Be nice about it. I get forgetful sometimes, and it hurts my feelings if people are mean to me. And we'll see you guys on the other side.